What's up, my angels? It's me, your girl Nickie. I had posted some videos in the past couple of days. I ended up taking them down because I probably said some things that weren't very appropriate. I mean, granted, it was genuine feelings, but it wasn't necessarily the appropriate way to respond to the situations at hand. It wasn't an effective method of coming to a end to the situation. And so I decided to take responsibility for that and take those videos down. But I do want to still speak on the situation at hand, because I feel like each and every one of us need to express ourselves on this situation and to show our support for our own who are being attacked and who are being killed and so on and so forth. I want to let you know that this is a very passionate and touchy situation and subject for me, because I myself have had multiple run-ins with the law enforcement, as they call themselves, and they weren't good type of situations, and it was never a situation where I was being violent or I was being super aggressive or any of that. I don't even really feel like I was being aggressive at all. I was more so defending myself and protecting myself and expressing that I don't trust them for good reason. It was most of the time, it was around the time period when one of these type of situations had happened then, and I definitely don't trust them, and these things that are going on is why I don't trust them. And I've had even times where in the midst of it, we've had one of ours who happened to be in their uniform that decided to actually ask me where I was coming from with my emotions and with my distrust for them. And because they asked, they had enough in them to ask, I gave them enough to give them an honest answer. And we ended up having some good discussions. And they personally felt like I should still trust them. I felt like, why the hell would I? And I felt like, why are you on their side in their uniform instead of being on our side with us, helping us to stop what's going on? And they felt like by them being in a uniform, they were helping, but you're being dictated by their rules and regulations and what they're setting it as your job to enforce. So, I mean, I'm not one that's opposed to having the conversations, the difficult conversations when it's necessary to have it. But I'm also not one to sit here and act like there aren't times when it's not the time for conversations, it's time for action. And I feel like right now is definitely a time for action. And I promise I'm not going to get super emotional in this video, but it's really a time for action. It's time for us, first of all, okay, so my opinion on the protesting. I do not disagree with the intentions behind the protest. Part of me want to say especially the peaceful ones, but at the same time, I feel like I definitely get the ones who are angry. They're angry. They may not have went out there with the intentions of busting out windows. They may not have went out there with the intentions of burning anything down or causing any harm to anybody. They may have genuinely went out there to be a part of the peaceful protest. And with them out there, you have to realize, first of all, you have people who are dealing with mood disorders, as in myself. I happen to be very aware of my disorders and be aware of self and be able to know different methods to keep minds in check. And I know what positions not to put myself in because I already know where it can lead. But there are people who are not that self-aware, and they're hurting. They're afraid. They're in pain. They're angry. And they feel like they cannot just sit back and do nothing. They feel like they have to put their foot forward. They feel like they have to do something. And they're doing something. Is going out there and being a part of this protest. But they're also a human being with PTSD. Anybody who deals with PTSD is not just for military people. Our people especially are at war in our own space, in our own land, in our own homes. We are at war right here. We don't have to be in y'all's military for us to feel the impact of the war that we exist in. It's a very scary situation, and a lot of times it makes a person feel helpless. And in order to battle that helpless feeling, you want to fight back. And sometimes it may not even be you wanting to fight back in a violent way. Sometimes it may be going out to a peaceful protest, standing out here saying, listen, this is what I'm out here to stand for. This is what I will not stand for. That we are showing that we are able to unite. But then once you get out there and you're dealing with PTSD, anxiety disorder, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, all of these different things that, to be honest with you, this society has created. And they're dealing with this along with I'm not going to say y'all, because I know most of the people that's watching my channel is not in that group. But what this government and the people who are for it are doing to us. And I can say directly us, because I have people, and I have even one of my parents, even my dad, feels like we need to stop with all this talking about the oppression and slavery and so on and so forth, because you weren't the one that was going through it. You're not going through that, this and that, and so on and so forth. Like, first of all, I personally was beat down by multiple officers, men and women, black and white. It was all initiated by the white, but the black ones who claim that they're in the uniform because they feel like it's going to make a difference for us, when those white officers tell you to go and put your hands on that black a person that's being arrested, without you even knowing the details of the situation, even having a conversation with them, what you're going to do is you're going to go and put your hands on that woman or man or child. That's what happens. Because you feel obligated, because it's your job, because that's what pays you. But I'm the type of individual I am, my good consciousness could under no circumstances do that. I seen what's going on out here. And I know for a fact that if you're in that uniform, you've seen it more than me, probably. You just haven't been on my side of it. You haven't been on George Floyd's side of it, obviously. You haven't been on Corinne Gaines' side of it, obviously. You haven't been on Corinne Gaines' son's side of it. Like, you see it happening, though. You hear about it happening, though. You may not, you see it. If you're in law enforcement, 9 times out of 10, you've seen it happen before in front of your face. But if you haven't, you've seen it in the media. You've heard people talking about it. If you're black, you've had some type of family member, friend, or somebody who has been directly impacted and affected by it. And you chose to ignore the depths of the situation and convince yourself by taking a job working for them to do what they enforce, to put food on your table, while others out here are being the victims of it. That's not helping us. But what I will say, at the end of the day, although I do not disagree with the passions and the thought process and the intentions behind it. I do not feel like that is the ultimate solution, because what that is doing is it allows also the vandalism, the violence, the all of the things that are happening, the larceny happening, and a lot of times it's not even us doing it. It's not even those people that are passionate about the situation and are angry and frustrated. It's not even them doing it. They genuinely went out there to have a peaceful protest. What was happening is I found out when we had, and make sure you join my IG. You follow me on IG and join the conversations when we go live, because this is the time for us to come together as a community and put our heads and hearts and minds and all of that together. And we did that yesterday. And the conversation led into some real life situations being told. And I told mine, and a brother of mine, well, technically he's family. He's connected to my family. And I love him dearly. And he was telling us about when he was at a rally and some white person came and threw a trash can in the streets, and it was depicted that it was the black people that were throwing trash cans in the streets and breaking out windows. And it all started with a white person throwing a trash can in the streets, or something happened with the trash can, and then things probably got crazy, and then it got flipped to all these people coming out here with a violent protest. Like, no, that's not what happened. If I go out, if me and my family and the people I love go out because somebody that we cared about is hurt, and we go out in the streets and hold hands, we simply go out there and hold hands. And we have some people who are passive, some people who are not so passive, maybe mild-tempered. And then you have other people who ain't for the shits at all. Excuse me. And then you take those people all coming together to have a peaceful display of love for self and willingness to show defense and comfort for each other by going out and simply holding hands in the streets to show the world that we are here for each other, we are standing for each other, and we have each other's backs without hurting anybody. And then somebody on the opposite side decides to come and throw something at us, or like start to try to even show a sign of aggression, that they're even going to get physical, when this whole thing started because of physical interaction that ended somebody's life, or almost ended somebody's life, or caused a serious, possibly permanent change to somebody's life. You cannot in any type of sanity expect to not get some type of reaction or retaliation when you're directly creating a threat to somebody who is not creating a threat at all. I don't care how many people, how many of us are coming together. The color of our skin does not all of a sudden make it threatening. And that is the message that we are constantly trying to get out. But when we come together, and this is to us, when we come together like that, obviously they feel threatened. And it's not saying that, oh, we should be concerned about making them feel threatened. But what it is to say is that we need to be wise. We need to be strategic about how we move And if we're moving in a wise and strategic manner, in an appropriate manner, in a manner that's going to actually make a real difference with less chance of causing any more of our lives to be lost, then at that point we know that we are doing all we can. And if they choose to take that as a threat, then that is 100%, 1,000% on them. But if you go out here in these streets knowing what is going to end in, knowing the direction that is more likely than not to go, not saying that you're wrong, but I'm just saying that that's not the most productive way of making a change. Now let's get to what is the most productive way of making a change. What is the most productive way of making a change is supporting each other. And supporting each other, a lot of people want to support each other and say, "Oh, I'll pray for you, and I'll give you a hug," and so on. And that's wonderful. That is awesome. That is amazing. Like, hugs, laughters, prayers are amazing. It makes a difference. But when it comes down to our money, we give it right back to them, and we refuse to put it into each other's pockets. We see each other out here hustling, struggling, grinding, and it's so deep and hard to the point that a lot of us feel so much pressure on us and so little support from us that we feel like the only way that we can get support within our own community or from anybody is to go out here and sell our bodies or sell drugs or do all types of craziness that are so below us. All of that is beneath us. We are, each and every one of us. A lot of people, and I've had my own people feel like I think I'm better than other people, and I'm better than them, and I'm all of that. Like, no, sweetheart. I think we all are better than that. I know we all are better than that. And I refuse to lower myself to that level, and it hurts me to see any of us lowering ourselves to that level. Yes, it gets tempting sometimes in this society with the lack of support within our community, because it's like no matter what you try to do positive, we refuse to support it. But if you have a white person who would be presumed to be wealthy open up a business, we flock to it like that. It opens today, and money is flowing in like clockwork today. But somebody like me or my brother or my sisters open something up, and we gotta wait forever and struggle hard and work 1,000,000 times harder than that next white person to even get an ounce of support. And that is the problem. And it may seem like it has nothing in the world to do with it, but in reality, it has everything to do with it. Everything. Everything. Because we got to look at, the only reason they feel like they have the power that they feel like they have is because of the fact that they have trained us so well to be so dependent on them. We depend on their medical system. We depend on their law enforcement. Well, I don't. A lot of you guys depend on their law enforcement. A lot of us are out here still talking about the solution is to go out and vote in their government, in their politics. A government that was founded on what? Things don't change from its foundation until you change the foundation. If you have a house and you build a house up and you tear the house down to its foundation, The foundation is cracked. The whole house is cracked, including the foundation, and you tear it down to the foundation and you rebuild the house on top of the same foundation, the house is still going to fall apart. Why? Because the foundation is damaged, is not structurally sound. The foundation of this government is not structurally sound for us, so it doesn't matter how much you vote in this government's politics, unless you are a part of the ancestry of the founders of this government, not this land. Don't get me wrong, not of the land, of the government on the land that has come and stolen, lied, killed, and destroyed to take control and rulership over this land. And I'm saying, and I will not take this video down, but I already know that I'm saying some stuff that a lot of people don't want to hear. A lot of people will probably be angry to hear it being said, but it's the truth, and they know it's the truth. They know it's the truth. I will take back with me saying anything that could possibly be misconstrued as encouraging violence towards a group as a whole, even though that is not what I said, and I specifically said that wasn't what I was saying. But I am aware that some people may misinterpret that or listen to part of the message and get that from it. So I did take responsibility for taking that down, but I will not take back what I'm saying now, because the truth is the truth. And that's the other problem. Until we get to the truth and we face the truth from both sides, if both sides face the truth for what it is, we will have a greater chance of what everybody claimed they're wanting. Because they claim that we've been desegregated. But obviously it's still segregation going on. And honestly, I feel like this segregation, we should have stayed segregated. And this is some very unpopular opinion, but I feel like segregation wasn't the problem. I feel like a superiority complex amongst the people who came here came onto this existence, this earth, way after the ones who they think they're more superior than is the problem. The trying to enforcing a religion that teaches you nonviolence while using it to be as a what's the words I'm looking for? I can't even get my words. Using it as your reasoning to be able to justify, as justification for your violence towards a people as a whole, because you don't see them as a person, because you see them as 3/4 of a person, or whatever that number was. That is the problem. That is so flawed on every level. And the fact that we as a people, speaking in general, are still adopting, still accepting these teachings as our own, and refusing to accept our own, refusing to accept your nationality, refusing to accept who you are. Think about this. Think about it. Somebody comes from China, or their mom, their dad, their grandma, even their great grandparents. are Chinese. But they were born and raised in America. Or they moved to America when they were young. You ask them what's their nationality. What's their nationality? They're Chinese. Right? Okay. Somebody comes here from Italy, or their ancestors were from Italy. Their mom, their dad, their grandma, their grandfather, so on and so forth. But they were here for a while. And somebody's asked them what's their nationality. What's their nationality? Italian. Somebody comes here from Africa. And we're going to get real clear and direct on this, because this is the part where we have confusion. Somebody comes here from Africa. Now, first of all, Africa is not a country, it's a continent. That's where a lot of people keep forgetting. So we have all these countries within the continent of Africa. So if somebody comes from Africa, you ask what's their nationality, well, it depends on which country they came from in Africa. So if they came from Egypt, they're Egyptian. If they came from Ghana, they're Ghanaian. If they came from Tanzania, they're Tanzanian. Gambia is Gambian. You come from Cuba, you're Cuban. That I know that's not in Africa, but I'm just naming countries now. You come from Europe, you're European. But then in America, if you're not from China and you're Chinese, if you're not from Cuba directly, like immediately from Cuba, you're Cuban, and you're not directly from Italy, you're Italian. It seems like the only ones who get to actually be acknowledged as their actual nationality are people who are obviously visually Chinese, or people who are obviously visually Mexican, or people who are obviously visibly or like just came from Italy, or just literally just came from Africa. Like if your grandparents came from Africa, or your parents came from Africa, and you've been here for so long, you're still considered black. If you your ancestors were from Europe and you came here, they came here and you were born here, you're considered white. But the problem is, first of all, my shirt is white. My hair isn't even black, so my skin definitely ain't black. But yet I would be considered black. I'm not even as dark as my hair, but I'm considered black. I've had my friends at school or my schoolmates call me white girl. But in their eyes, in the law enforcement's eyes, in the government's eyes, I'm automatically black. It doesn't matter that I write what my nationality is down on paper on their documents. They still will go and switch it up in their system and put me as black, which is illegal as fuck. Because you can't tell somebody else what their nationality is. But we're not even going to get to that. What we're getting to is how, if your nationality is white, what country does that mean that you are from? What nation does that make you from? I'll wait. Okay. So if your nationality is black, what nation does that make you from? I'm waiting. Okay. So I want y'all to comment below and like really I want to hear y'all answers, because I'm trying to get people to start thinking about these things, because until we start opening our minds up and thinking, really thinking and asking these real questions, being realistic with ourselves, using our logic that God gave us, we are not going to come to no solutions and no ends to anything. Because we're forever leaving everything in somebody else's control. We're leaving the responsibility of that to somebody else. And as long as you leave your life, the responsibility of your life in somebody else's hands, you will forever remain helpless. It's not until you take responsibility for your life, you take responsibility for your family, you take responsibility for whatever it is that you're passionate about. And taking responsibility means taking action to make the difference and lead the path. Until we do that, you can't be anything but helpless. You can't. It's impossible. I don't care how much somebody may give you that seems great. First of all, nothing in this world is free. Nothing is free. It may not be paid for monetarily, but sometimes the unmonetary fees are way worse than any monetary fee could ever be. So trust me, it ain't free. So what you think somebody's giving you, you're still helpless until you take responsibility for yourself. So we have to acknowledge who we are. You're not black. Black is darkness. Black has forever and always represented evil. So calling yourself black, you're calling yourself basically the representation of evil. That wasn't accidental. Calling them white, white represents angelicness, purity, all of those good things. So calling them the white man is basically calling them pure. I don't see purity in what's going on. That wasn't accidental. We have to remember we're using their languages, not our own. It wasn't accidental. So what we have to first do is we have to acknowledge, we have to find and acknowledge who we are. And it's like, it's there now. We don't even have to find it. It's there. I made a video a little while ago when I was excited that I finally found a new level of freedom or something like that. Something along those lines. Go watch it. Take this information and the information in that video and start searching. Once we realize who we are, we'll realize how united we should be. We will realize that we are actually a real nation. We actually deserve to defend and protect ourselves with our lives. We deserve it. And I feel we are actually probably the only nation that right now doesn't feel like we deserve to do that. And that's because we don't even recognize ourselves as belonging to any nation other than the United States of America that was built on killing and destroying us and lying to us. And yet we fight for it. We fight ourselves to protect it. Because it's what we've been taught all our lives, and it hurts us to have what we've been taught all our lives to feel like it's being ripped away from us. But sweetheart, sometimes you have to rip off that band-aid for healing to happen. Sometimes you have to get through that pain in order for the healing to begin. It's not easy, but it's a necessary, it's a must. And once we learn who we are, we will start supporting each other. You have Walmart across the street. You have 7-Eleven across the street, around every corner. At least in my state. There's some states that don't have 7-Eleven, I found out. But most in my state and several other states, 7-Eleven on every corner. Or just about. Even like you have the corner stores that are owned by the Indians. The Indians from India. More people will go and support that than they would a new black owned business. And I say black owned business as in us here in America that aren't considered a part of a true nationality. If we were to open a business, nobody would show up. But the Indian business open up, coming from India, people will go and support it, which is not a bad thing. But there are a lot of people who would even bypass their stores to go way down the road to go to 7-Eleven. They didn't probably walk past 3 of their stores to go to 7-Eleven. Or to any of these big corporate white-owned businesses. Now, sometimes I get why people don't want to go to certain places, because we also have to fix our attitudes towards each other, and that's where learning ourselves and learning where we come from and learning how to come together and realize that we are supposed to be acting and moving as a nation, and we would stop treating each other the way we do. Because if a lot of times nobody wants to go into a store where they're being treated like them being a customer doesn't matter. Because sometimes we walk into these white stores. Yeah, sometimes they're rude and nasty to us. They follow us around. But we don't walk into the store and they just, sometimes they do. But a lot of times you walk into Walmart, they smile at you. They say, "Hi, how are you doing? Have a great day." They put on that show and that facade so they can get that money back. But we open a business and we feel like, oh, I own this business, so I'm better than you. Like, I don't need you like you do. We need each other. So we also do have to fix that. So I don't fully agree with some of us, and some of my brothers feel like we should support each other. We should. They feel like we should support each other no matter what, and so on and so forth. Yes, we should, but it shouldn't be a no matter what. We need to also start treating each other well, especially the ones who are coming to support you. We should be happy and grateful, especially in these times, as hard as many of us that are lost in our minds. For the ones who decide to open their minds and find themselves and not be lost in their minds and come and actually support our own businesses, we should be loving on them. But at the same time, if people are still hurting, just because somebody owns a business don't mean that they're mentally free. Okay? So we also have to love each other enough to nurture each other through our pain. And sometimes it may hurt, and yet I'm feeding myself my own unsavory words sometimes too, because I just finished having a conversation with one of the brothers last night, talking to me about my personal situation, and somebody who I would really love to be able to have a healthy, positive relationship with, but it's very difficult for me. And a lot of times it feels like I need to distance myself from them. But right now, the last thing we need is distance from each other. And it's hard. And I do realize that that individual is going through some pain that they don't even fully acknowledge. And because of that pain, their pain is inflicted outwardly onto the like me. And I'm in a level of trying to grow out of pain and trying to learn how to love myself. And sometimes when somebody is hurting, they don't know how to do anything else but discourage when somebody's trying to do something on a higher level. And we do need to learn how to nurture each other through that hurt. But we have to be patient with each other from both sides. We have to be patient with each other from both sides, because sometimes an individual may not be ready. But I can say, we and I included, definitely need to very quickly get ready. Because the time is now. We need to make ourselves ready. We need to find a way. We need to find a way. I don't know all the answers, but I know we need to find a way. We do. And even if it's us coming together as a group, maybe you don't know how to have that conversation between just you and another individual, a specific individual. Maybe you don't know how to have that conversation. Maybe that conversation, you don't see it being able to go. Maybe you know it won't go in a good direction with just the two of you talking. But maybe if you get a group together, you come together as a group and have mediators, like you all be a mediator amongst each other, then maybe it can get somewhere. But you have to find it in your heart to be able to do that. And we have to support each other. Now, I'm going to do this call to action. I'm not going to say this last time, because it's not going to be the last time. If you're watching my videos, please subscribe to my channel. The way YouTube is set up, you have to have 1,000 subscribers in order for you to get monetized. And what monetized means is you get paid from doing your videos and putting out your content. The way you get paid is they put ads on the videos. So in order for you to even start getting ads on your videos, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and you have to have 4,000 watch hours. So if you're subscribed to my channel and you're not actually watching my videos and watching them all the way through, then, I mean, the subscription does count. I'm not going to say it doesn't count, but it will count even more if you actually watch the videos. When I do get ads on my videos, if you don't want to watch the ads, please don't skip them. Just go and do something else while the ad plays. Silence the ad and, until the ad is over with. But in order for me to get paid, you have to watch the ad. These are free ways to support each other. We have a whole bunch of us out here doing YouTube, putting out inspirational messages, just giving people a laugh for the day. That is so healing for people so often. I have plenty of YouTubers that I watch just because they give me that laugh that I need on my worst moments. And that helps me so much. That encourages me, that uplifts me. That even them just getting up there and just being themselves brings a light to my day. And it helps me so much. So I want to subscribe to them. I want to give them that extra boost that will help them to get a paycheck for what they do for me. Because to them, it may not even seem like they're even doing anything. They're just being themselves. But it's helping. And that's the other reason why I deleted the videos that I did in the past couple of days. Because this channel was supposed to be for uplifting and encouragement and positivity and all of that. And right now, we need that more than ever also. So I don't want to add to giving the energy to the negativity, the evil that's going on. Like, I want to acknowledge it, but I will not give it my energy to help it grow. I will not. I will not. I refuse. So what we're going to do, will be my last video on this subject. I think my intentions is for this to be my last video on this subject matter, so detailed, and I will say, I will still probably just talk about it, but I'm not going to make a whole video geared directly towards it. That's not my intentions anyway. I won't promise, but that's not my intentions to make any more videos that's fully about this subject. But to start making some really lit videos to give y'all some laughs and smiles throughout y'all day, because I know it's very, very much so needed right now. I know this is a very long video, but I really just needed to say everything that I needed to say so that this can be the last full video on this subject matter. So I hope you watched it all the way through. If you've watched it all the way until now, I greatly appreciate you guys. I am also an artist. If you want to see my artwork, make sure you go through my videos and watch the videos where I'm actually doing them. If you want to see my finished results, make sure you're subscribed to my my Instagram channel. Not subscribed, but you're following me on Instagram, because my artwork is all displayed on there. And support the grind, definitely. And if you have something that you want me to shout out, if you are a beautiful melanated soul being, and you have a business, or you have some talent that you want to let it be known, send me a message in my DM. And also, my birthday, yeah, it's coming up in a week and a few days. June 10th. Set the date. I will be turning up. As long as I have internet, I will be turning up. I'm still going to record regardless, so I will be turning up. If I don't post it on my birthday, either I fell asleep, I got too lit, or I didn't have the internet access to post it, because right now times is tough. I'm not getting the support I need. The government is full of shit. They supposed to send out them PUA checks. I ain't got a goddamn thing. I ain't got no PIN number, nothing to even check to find out why I ain't got nothing. I ain't got no child support money. My job then basically fired me. They talking about they don't know if I'm on the paperwork or not. The manager's supposed to been and letting me know. She ain't letting me know nothing, so I'm looking for another job. In the meantime, I got my baby. I got these bills to pay, my phone bills that's coming up, and I'm sitting with this beautiful artwork around me, and still creating more. I'm about to create some business cards. It's going to be individual, all original art pieces of their own. So, yeah, stay tuned and show your support. Most definitely. If you want to make sure that I can have the best birthday party ever, make sure you go down in my description below. My Cash App is in there. If you send me anything, even if it's just $1, I will shout you out, whether you have a business or talent or not. I will shout you out. Just send me something for my birthday. I would greatly appreciate it. It will definitely help me out. If you've watched my channel from the beginning, if you haven't, please do go back to my earlier videos from last year around my birthday time. I posted my birthday videos. And I told the story soon after that of how I had just recently almost died. When I had my baby, who's laying here taking a nap right now, when I had her, I was almost dead. I wasn't supposed to make it probably another week. I wasn't supposed to see 2019, and I'm here. So I was planning on really turning up then, and I got ready. Y'all saw me getting ready for it and everything, you know, went out and bought specific outfits for it and everything, and nobody came through for me. But it's all good, because people got their lives and people got their, you know, whatever. But it is what it is. But this year, I'm trying to actually celebrate my birthday. Like, actually really celebrate my birthday. I know I deserve it, because we all deserve it. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off, because this is a long-ass video. I love you guys so much. I love you so much. My beautiful chocolate men out there, I love you guys. I may not be romantically wanting to be romantically involved, but that doesn't mean that I don't love you. Okay? Just know that. That doesn't mean I don't love you. I hurt just the same if anything happens to you. We still need you. And us beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chocolate women, you know I love you. But anyway, y'all stay up, stay loved, and definitely stay safe out here in these streets. Peace.